President-elect John Mahama on the 18th December 2024 set up a 5-member committee known as the Oral Team. Its job: receive documents and forward allegations of corruption, looted state assets, and alleged misuse of public funds for investigation. What they found was striking: 2,417 complaints. And those complaints were later reviewed down to 230 cases. Fast forward to 2026. The president revealed in a recent thank you tour that about 7 of those cases are already before the court. So what are those cases? Well, JoyNews research has been digging, and this is what we found. And we're going to take you through that. A number of the cases in the court as we speak is the Republic scandal. Now, the status of that case is another case is the Republic versus the Akonta mining and 3 others, which is the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve mining case. The status of that case is also at the cross-examination stage. Now, let's look at other cases involving other people. That is the Republic versus Gifty Oware-Mensah, who is also in the National Service Scheme scandal. The status of that case is at the cross-examination stage. Then we have the Republic versus Osei Asibe-Entwe, the National Service scandal also, and that case is also at case management stage, as you say. And then comes the Republic versus Hanan Abdul Wahab and Alu Diba and Ano. That is a buffer store case, and we know the status of that case is also at the case management stage. Then there is the Republic versus Professor Christopher Mayor Ekumfi Solomon Asamoah case, which is the SkyTrain scandal, and is also at the cross-examination stage. Then this very one, the cybersecurity software scandal. And what is the allegation? The diversion and laundering of 49.1 million Ghana cedis that was released for the procurement of a cyber defense software system for Ghana's national security infrastructure. And it is alleged transfer of funds into private company accounts linked to himself and his associate. We're talking about Adu Boahen. Now, let's look at the timeline of this case. March 2025 was when he was first arrested, and in April 2025, he was charged by the Attorney General. And then also in October 2025, the Attorney General discontinued prosecution against one Mildred Donko, the 3rd accused in that case. And if you look at this case, there are about 11 charges that are leveled against Adu Boahen. Now, in recent ruling, Court of Appeal made a decision that portions of an earlier ruling of the High Court were set aside. And then it ordered the prosecution to provide some disclosures regarding some bank statements requested by the defendant. And we'll be digging into that shortly. Then also it ordered the immediate past national security coordination to disclose whether the 49.1 million Ghana cedis was actually meant for the importation of the cyber defense system alone. And that is crucial to this case. And also the 4th decision made by the Court of Appeal is a decision dismissing an application by Adu Boahen and 2 others seeking stay of proceedings because they failed to demonstrate reasons to warrant. And the 5th is the court rejected the request seeking the publication of national security account details dating from the era of former President Jerry John Rawlings to the present administration. And the lead counsel for Adu Boahen, Samuel Atta Akyea, expressed satisfaction actually with the reliefs granted by the court. And as you see, trial of the case continues at the Criminal Division of the Accra High Court. So tonight, we zoom into the case of interest, which we just spoke about, the Republic versus the Adu Boahen case. And my guest in studio is his counsel and also a former MP for Ibuakwa South constituency, the person of Samuel Atta. And he joined us this evening. Stay with us. We'll return with details for this conversation. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us here on The Probe. And of course, this broadcast is live on Joy 99.7 FM and Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and across over 30 affiliates in the country. And this is The Probe. Tonight, we speak to the Defense Counsel for Adu Boahen, who is facing criminal charges over the alleged diversion and misappropriation of state funds meant for a national security cyber defense system. And so I have in studio his counsel, Samuel Atta Akyea. Grateful to have you here.
My pleasure as always.
It's been a while.
Yes, please.
Great. Let's start from recent arrests. Yes. You know, some NPP activists have been arrested for certain comments they've made, and the government thought that those comments threatened national security and all that. And recently we saw the NPP made some petitions to the international community here in Ghana. What do you make of all those arrests and how your party itself is positioning itself with regards to those arrests?
Well, if an arrest will undermine and subvert the Constitution, at least much to be desired, because the people are just projecting free speech, provided always that what they are expressing will not undermine the Constitution. I don't see why they should be arrested.
When somebody says the president should be killed or something, you don't think that's a national security threat?
Well, what is a national security threat about it? If you look at the context of the conversation and you know that it's a monumental joke. So therefore, if you develop a hypersensitivity to, free speech, then any insult against the president will be a subject matter of arrest. Anything that will be said about the president will be subject matter of arrest. Recently, I saw young girls in school, bastardizing even the personality of Akufo-Addo and the rest, and they were treated with jest. So I'm of the humble view that insofar as he's the president of Ghana, if you say people should not...
They shouldn't talk about the president.
Yes.
They are making direct statements. One video I saw, the guy said they will go burn the NDC head office, for instance.
Arson. So if he's trying to attempt an arson, you know what to do. Yes. And if it's just a joke, sometimes when you want them off, it sets you in good stead that you've not developed a hypersensitivity to free speech. Why is the person saying so? If you go and check for all the factors that are present, and then NDC man so disgruntled that they are in power, but he's very hungry. And it was better off even an MPP will come out and say that he's going to burn the headquarters of the NDC. You won't find an MPP individual saying that, oh, he has a bravado to go and burn the headquarters of
the NDC.
So let's look at all these matters in the background of frustrations, unfulfilled promises. People feel that this government is a disappointment for them because they promised them heaven while they were in opposition. And now that the relatives have done, they are not able to deliver as they should. And if they vent their frustration, and every ventilation of frustration should be the subject matter of arrest, the government will not have time to govern. The whole course will be overloaded with cases. A lot of people are frustrated.
So you think these cases are trivial matters that shouldn't be given attention at all?
Well, if you do a good background to these individuals and what they say is incapable of performance, there's an exercise in jest.
Somebody like Abronye, DC?
What does Abronye said, which is subversive of the Constitution of Ghana? If a man is bold and is able to express his feelings concerning certain issues and you disagree, let's hear your disagreement. That is the beauty of democracy, that we might not agree. Even right in this studio, we might not agree. But the power of democracy is that we can engage in free speech. What I say, you can counter, and then we express it and go. It's not clubs and ASEGA. It's not using arrest to intimidate people so that they don't criticize you.
Do you think that's what this government is doing to the NPP folks?
Too much. I am of the view that it's not important at all. Because a man of Abronye's stature, you can't use the power of denial of bail and the rest of these communist inferior tactics, to submerge him from, declaring what he believes, is a state of affairs. It's an exercise in futility.
But that's what the courts are mandated to do, and they are doing that. That's not the government. We can't link what the courts are doing to the government. Is that not the case?
You see, what the courts are doing are initiated by the government.
By the police. The police caused the arrest.
You cannot separate the police from the government. You see? Because one of the enforcement agencies of the government is the police. The police will ensure that governmental orders are carried out. And
governmental orders,
of course,
based on law.
Yeah. Even some of the orders will never be based on. That's how somebody feels. Somebody feels that you are insulting the president.
There's no law that says if you insult the president, you get arrested.
Well, it depends on the context, Like, for instance...
But if you threaten the president, you get arrested.
Well...
So that is based on law.
When is an empty threat? Where are you taking it? I will show you where power lies. Imagine a young girl trying to say that he will set herself against the powers of the state. It's laughable, is it not? So I am of the view that they shouldn't develop this hypersensitivity relative to free speech, because a time is going to come that they believe that they are above criticisms, and that is not democracy.
Do you think that is exactly what happened to your client, Adu Boahen?
In terms of
arrests, the manner in which he was arrested and all that?
It was pathetic. This Adu Boahen, I keep saying, was part and integral to the national security setup in the country. I'm a good man. If you want to arrest a national security couple, it's a phone call away. It's all that. There are some matters I'm concerning you that you need to come and answer in Nyoko. And if you want to come, you may come with your lawyer. The time schedule is 10 o'clock. But if you believe that, let's show this young man where power lies. Let's get him arrested at the airport, put handcuffs on his hands, showcase him to the whole world that as if he's a common criminal. It's shameful to the one who is effecting the arrest, as if you have an axe to grind and we are not practicing a due process. If we are practicing due process, you can invite anybody. Nobody is immune from arrest. A phone call away. What
is wrong with the manner in which he was arrested?
Was he running away? The issues of handcuffs are like people who have the propensity to run away. Where was he going to?
But that's the discretion of the, arresting authorities.
It's a poor discretion of the one arresting. It's a brutal show of force and bravado, which is needless, because the man himself checked through the Kotoka International Airport. Is it the modus operandi of criminals? A decent man, national security couple, comes through this country, Kotoka International Airport. So why do you want to humiliate him by putting handcuffs on him? Is he running away from justice? So when people talk about discretion, as if my will be done, discretion should be grounded in law and decency. That the same way that you don't want to be treated, you shouldn't treat another. And I believe it was very disgraceful that the national security couple, should be arrested in the manner in which they treated him, put handcuffs on him, and then showcase to the whole world that he's been arrested.
And you've also been raising concerns about the bail approach, the process and all that. What is your key concern about that process itself?
You see, when somebody is arrested, the Constitution says that if the time and the period of arrest should exceed 48 hours, the law enforcement agency should send the individual to court unconditionally. But what is happening is that the law enforcement agency like Yoko will say that, can you go and bring 3 houses at Trasako over an unproven matter? So if you say the figure that has been stolen is even 100 million Ghana cedi, it's unproven. But the underlying principle for bail is to say that, look, can you give some reasonable security so that when we need you for further investigation, you'll be able to provide it.
Yeah, so that reasonable security is what they put on the table based on the gravity of the case he finds himself in.
What is the gravity of the case on the terms of the one who arrested you? He puts that gravity on that case. So in his imaginary, if you like, a funny situation, he's saying that, look, what I'm investigating is worth 200 million. You go and look at it, and it's so anemic, you don't know how even they got the facts. So they go and assemble funny facts, and they say, okay, this is the basis why you should post bail in a sum of maybe 500 million. And then the person is unable to do it. And they know that it's so cruel and oppressive. The person will not meet the bail term. And the person will be in their cells for 8 days, 9 days. And they breach the Constitution with impunity. The Attorney General will not want to address Yoko that, look, you are flouting the Constitution. The Constitution behoves you to take the individual who has not made the bail condition to court. Because you shouldn't exceed 48 hours.
So his rights have been breached?
In serious dimension, that if they want to ventilate their position in court, they will secure compensation.
Is this something you are considering or he's considering?
Well, we are so engrossed in the issue of now we are on bail, of the trial. And there are several outstanding matters we will deal with. For example, if you have the propensity to try a man in the media and bastardize him.
Who is trying who in the media?
The Attorney General did it with impunity.
He was updating the public. The matter was a matter of public interest.
About a man who is guilty and should come for plea bargaining. The Attorney General is a court of competent jurisdiction in the media space where there's no, proof beyond reasonable doubt. And you fed them with how you feel about the case. And Joe Randolph didn't do that. Marietta Brew didn't do that. All the Attorney Generals never believed in the power of the press. They believe in the power of the court, where proof is beyond reasonable doubt. Now, when you defame a man, and it turns out that all that you said about him is false, how does he repair his image?
But at this stage, we are not at the end of the road yet. So
I'm saying that the defamation has been registered already. And what we are going through is not the way to go. That now the court is going to look into the matter, and then they find out that, look, all that you said about the man was false. But it's right to go and seek damages for, defamation. It's still present and active. But we are so consumed with these matters, we will know what to do.
So you thought that the press statement made by the Attorney General on this case was unnecessary?
It was very unnecessary. In fact, it didn't sit well with the high office of an Attorney General. And the Attorney General is acutely aware that he has a constitutional role, Article 88, is a principal advisor to the government. And if the principal advisor to the government is violating the very Constitution, I'm afraid then rule of law is sitting upside down. It doesn't help Ghana.
How is the case going anyway?
Well, I don't want to do anything by way of self-praise, but you are the fourth estate of the realm. You follow the case critically. some of the high points of the case you know already, and some of the proceedings have been, is in the public space. But today, what is frightening for everybody to know, that there's what we call the prosecution witness. The prosecution witness is the individual going to aid the Attorney General to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. You're talking about Mildred Donko? There's not Mildred Donko. There have been more serious things than Mildred Donko.
Okay.
And more serious thing is PW2. It is Adu said national security has not lost 49.1 million. On oath, we have not even brought Adu Boahen for internal disciplinary committee meeting. So you are in your own enclave and your pigeonhole, and you are assuming that 49.1 million cedis is lost, in the national security space. It's false. She said all these things. So when you have, a prosecution witness, drumming home the innocence of the accused person, then you should tell.
That's why you're smiling.
You should tell how the case is going. Right now, I don't want to begin to run unnecessary commentary on.
No, but you are a seasoned lawyer. You've dealt with high-profile cases over the decades, and so you should see the direction of this case. Are you winning the case?
Well, we should win the case, because at the end of the day, if you pay regard to even the disclosures that they are about to put across, the court has ordered that come and explain to us the purpose of
the transfers?
49.1 million, the purpose. So if you assume you are Yoko, and guess what? Yoko and the Attorney General has not fielded the national security couples who were functioning during Adu Boahen's time. For them to say, we were the people who were doing the thinking of national security. And the 49.1 million was a rogue arrangement by Adu Boahen under the guise of procuring a cyber defense system. And therefore, we testify in your favor against him. Do you know the material witnesses in this case? One of them is a driver. They've not called the previous National Security Coordinator. They've not called Kandapa, the former Minister for National Security. So what kind of guesswork?
Were you expecting the prosecution to rely on those key people?
Now, without doubt. Then the case is too anemic and irretrievably bad.
Why anemic?
Because they are the people who should testify against Adu Boahen, and not Yoko. Because what does Yoko know about what is happening in national security? As we are talking now, this current national security operations, you think Yoko is privy to how the government submarine is functioning, and they know how they are treating the president, his travels, protection issues, what is happening in Boko, and the rest of it? You can't sit in your office and even second guess what Joy FM is doing. I can't second guess what you are doing. I don't know your finances. I can't sit in Atta Akyea and begin to provide views.
But Joy FM is a private institution.
Yes.
Signals Bureau is a state institution. So there's public interest.
And that's what I'm saying, that it is even serious because of how national security is not the graphic we read every morning. So therefore, if you want to say that, you've delved into national security matters, at least might to be that desired, because I was expecting that those who are in the national security space are the material witnesses who should level allegations against Adu Boahen.
The prosecution is saying that your client created some BNC accounts that mirrored what the original system should have been, and monies were being siphoned or transferred through that system. What is your position on that accusation by the prosecution?
You see, the wisdom of the Court of Appeal is clear that they should come and explain the purpose of the cyber defense system and how it attaches to the 49.1 million.
They should be able to establish a link.
They should be able to establish a link, the purpose of that money. Because the theory of the prosecution is very funny, that Adu Boahen was powerful enough to have siphoned money from what they call the state BNC into an account that he created, which is called B.N.C Communications Bureau Limited, and that was the receptacle of the crime. It has turned out that account is a national security special purpose account. At the instance of who? Chairman, not Adu Boahen. And guess what? In the account, you could see monies being transferred from that account back to the National Security Coordinator's account with Fidelity Bank. The criminal returned the money to the source of the theft. Absurdity of monstrous proportion. We cannot do that to ourselves. And why do you want to show?
So you are saying tonight that Adu Boahen, those monies paid through those accounts cannot be linked to him? Is that the point you're making?
It is not even at his instance. He didn't initiate the opening of the account. It was a National Security Coordinator.
Under his authority?
Yes, yes. No, he created the scenario of bringing advantage solutions in. You know, the national security can use in private entities to aid their work.
Right.
And then there's a clear letter to Advantage Solutions that opened this account in this bank. And that was what was done. It was not Adu Boahen who opened the account. And all the checks that were paid into the account were at the instance of Chairman. The 49.1 million was paid into the account, not one go, 3 occasions, through the checks signed by Chairman.
Adu Boahen never signed those checks.
Adu Boahen co-signed it. Yes.
So that makes him complicit, right?
How can he be complicit when he didn't open the account?
But he sat at the helm of affairs.
No.
He issued orders.
You see, he never issued any order. He didn't initiate the opening of the account. It was when Chairman decided that he wanted to transfer money into his special operations account, that because the national security account at Fidelity has a signatory, one of the signatories, the National Security Coordinator, and is one of the signatories that said, come and sign this one also and put it in my account. So
and he signed.
He signed. Yes. So when he signed, it was not for his private benefit. It was a National Security Coordinator running that account. It's as simple as daylight. And I don't see why anybody...
What about those transfers we've heard that certain amount of monies were transferred to his wife's account and back and forth and all that?
You see, people are not right in their thinking concerning national security matters. So now, if you saw an account and there's a decoy, transfer this money to Atta Akyea, but the intent of using Atta Akyea's name is to transfer it to another person of high political sensitivity. So how do you sit in your bedroom and interpret the spending?
Why would you do that? Why don't you transfer the money straight to Atta Akyea?
Because national security does not do that. National security does not expose itself. So to you, there's a transfer to AC, but to national security, it's a decoy for Mansa to be the beneficiary.
And why would the decoy be the wife of the man who sits at the helm of affairs?
Because she's been sworn in by national security, and national security will function through confidentiality and trust and secrecy. Now, even if you breach the secrecy, it could be a subject matter of your prosecution. So national security does not function by anybody. So if national security believes that if we repose sufficient confidence in Adu Boahen and is a couple, and let's find people in his circle who we can trust to aid our operations, national security will do that. And the pattern is not new.
Who makes that decision of selecting a decoy?
National Security Coordinator. And not
Are there files that we can look through and see a decision was taken at this point in time that the wife of Adu Boahen should serve this purpose and this money should be transferred to him?
At least we know of one letter to that effect. But that's why the Court of Appeal, the 3 wise people have said they should bring the files in the national security space so that they'll confirm what you are surmising.
Which I think you are so much happy about.
I'm very happy about it.
Why?
Because then you can't doctor evidence. You can't sit down there and put together a theory for the consumption of the press. Because the documents are not supposed to be for entertainment value. The documents are supposed to prove beyond reasonable doubt your case. So that if the documents are not consistent with what we are trying to project as crime, the case will collapse. So that is why there's no reason why anybody should hide anything from the court. That is why we call it the disclosures. And the disclosures are intended that you don't surprise the defense, and the documents you want to use to prove the case are before the court. In a very serious environment, if you withheld 88 pages of a document, you understand, that is concealment of evidence, which is contrary to Section 55 of the Evidence Act. It's even a criminal offense to withhold or conceal critical documents.
Who is withholding it?
The Attorney General, of course. Yes, because that is why the Court of Appeal said, they should provide it now, that they cannot take 88 pages out of a document when the freedom of the individual is at stake. Because what you're supposed to do, the Attorney General is not a persecutor. The Attorney General should not glory that the innocent goes to jail. So even if they are exculpatory evidence, what is exculpatory evidence? Evidence that are consistent with the innocence of the accused person. And the Attorney General sees them, the Attorney General should make it available to the court. In fact, it will be dangerously unprofessional for the Attorney General to hide documents that are consistent with the innocence of an accused person.
What role does that particular 88 pages, including the National Security Coordinator's file,
yes,
and full disclosure of national security linked account tied to accused from 2007 to date, how significant are those documents to this case?
Well, I don't want to do the trial here and also let out my arsenals. But I could tell you, these are not matters to joke with. If you are armed with this document, it will bring to conclusion that the theory of the Attorney General, which began in the press and is continuing, is bogus. That it is not true. And even he has been deceived and his thinking is wrong, because what is in the national security space does not support the theory. It will come out.
You are sure about that?
I am indeed sure about that.
Let's look at the decoy bit of it.
Yeah.
You said the wife of Adu Boahen played a role as a decoy. Is that the practice? Do we have other people who have played those roles for national security?
That is why we wanted to have the names of assistants. They call them the assistant, or the assets of the national security. They are not properly signed on by national security, but they aid national security.
But there should be some register.
Yes, there should be. Officially, that these people.
So we can establish that.
Yes.
Apart from the wife of Adu Boahen.
Yes.
There were people.
There are several.
Who play those roles.
There are several.
So that it doesn't turn out to be only the wife of Adu Boahen who is the decoy.
You are blessed and highly favored. Therefore, if you single out Adu Boahen's wife as a problem woman, then you don't understand national security. You don't understand national security. Because national security can even use a very serious person in the space of Joy FM, and people do not know that he's working for national security. So that is what it is. So we wanted to have the pattern of these individuals who have been assisting national security. And the court said it is too far off and that they are unable to give us that order. Because we needed those individuals that we will select, the ones that we will need to show that this is not the first time that private individuals have sworn oaths of secrecy to the National Security Coordinator and they have been used successfully. So they achieve their ends. So you will be working with a national security operative or an asset and you don't know. But they are the ones who are feeding them with good information. So the sanity of the nation is secured. Yes. The national security is called the government submarine. Have you heard that before? And today they believe they should put the national security on trial. This is not an ordinary individual.
That is a position you've held.
Yes.
That this matter, the more you go into it, the more you expose the country's security architecture.
Yes.
Why so?
In the history of espionage and national security, have you seen anywhere in the world that the coordinator's operations account is in the public space for people to see how the national security coordinator was spending his money?
Oh, that when there are questions about that expenditure.
That expenditure is not even accessible to the parliament. The Public Accounts Committee of Parliament hasn't gotten the power to bring that document for scrutiny.
But the court have the power.
The court will not do that.
The court have the power.
The court can never say they should bring to the fore the National Security Coordinator's account for interrogation. And if you want to even interrogate it, under the rules of national security, the court will order that go and do this internally. Don't open it up so that even people are now publishing it to the individual. Do you know there's the internal mechanism to redress national security issues under their laws? So why have you breached the law and want to prosecute Adu Boahen? That's there. So when a national security operator should go rogue, you understand, they don't take him to court. There are internal mechanisms where rogue operators are dealt with. Because if
you think that Adu Boahen case should be dealt with internally?
I believe it is eminently sensible that they did that, but I'm not going to give advice.
Which means there is some grounds on which that should have been done internally.
It is ground. There's a lot of grounds. Even now, people are talking about refunds. You know, where the monies of national security can go so low, but the operations are time sensitive, and they call upon one of their chief operators, can you source money from anywhere so we get money to do our operations? And when we are in funds, we'll do refunds. You know, things are coming out like that in the court openly, and they show the poor balance of a national security coordinator and how Adu Boahen could go afield and raise money for operational matters. Oh, it's an embarrassment to the state. Now, anybody believes that they've gotten one man. I've said this before. If somebody believes that Adu Boahen's disgrace, you know, should compromise our national security, one man's trouble, if there's even trouble at all, should be the basis to embarrass the whole of national security and put and endanger national security, is a poor judgment.
You think that is the situation now?
It is so prominent. And I pray to God that the president will see through what is going on. But national security is not an ordinary institution to be brought before the public.
How then do we hold public officers accountable? If you're saying that even the courts do not have the power,
you see, Parliament
does not have the power, it means that anything can go on, and these are public funds.
How do you know it's public funds?
Which money then is the Signals Bureau using to protect us in the name of national security?
You should find out what was the source of the 49.1 million.
What was the source?
You are asking me.
I want to know.
They should bring the files, and the files will speak. What if? I'm just saying, what if?
Of course.
It is never public money, but it was rather a loan they took from an individual for operations. My brother, you should be careful about national security.
Is that the reality?
I don't want to go there, but then my joy is that the Court of Appeal is interested that you should explain the source of the money and the purpose of the money. So if the purpose of the money and the source of the money are not in sync with the theory of Attorney General, the case is...
Let's go back to the assumption you're making. That supposing that fund were to be some loans taken from someone.
Yes.
Definitely, Signals Bureau would have to pay back, right?
It's not Signals Bureau that should pay back. The monies were in the account of the coordinator, and let's don't confuse it. So the National Security Coordinator is different from the Signals Bureau.
Right.
The Signals Bureau is a recent invention.
Good.
So therefore, there are operations account which are not even amenable to the scrutiny of Parliament. Are you aware?
Yes,
the National Security Operations account.
Right.
And therefore, how can you second guess the deposits and the credits in the account which is not amenable to public scrutiny? Do you know it's your funny clairvoyance which will destroy the case? You sit in your office and you begin to say, let me peek into the thinking of the National Security Coordinator. How absurd. It's totally preposterous. You wouldn't know what he's doing. Today, if we want to ensure that we have peace in our borders, that role, even the police can't second guess. It's the National Security Coordinator and its operatives, and with even foreign counterparts who are working together to ensure that we don't have, these jihadists,
the Sahelian
troubles and the rest of it. What are the gadgets we need to have advanced knowledge of what is going to happen? How can you sit in UK and begin to guess about gadgets? Do you understand cyber defense system? And that's why the court is saying that it might be necessary we reword our request for disclosures and go into the space. So when it is found that the machine is there And they didn't even say the Israeli company should be a witness so that the transfers were fake. The guy, so that would be when it would be consistent with he trying to steal the money. So, and we have the, what is called, the wire transfer, and it's in evidence. So the wire transfer went to a boutique being run by a private individual. Aha! There you are talking. But why don't you want to bring the Israeli company? Well, if you brought the Israeli company, that will be the end of your case. In fact, we did, supply the cyber defense system.
Well,
and what is very significant, there are documents to that effect that they have confirmed that it was supplied. And they even have a contract to service the machines.
Tell us tonight, did IOCO establish the source of the funds?
As a matter of fact, my brother, they on their own, disclosures, IOCO did not know the source of the funds as they wrote it out and the Attorney General signed. It's very sad because contemporaneously, as they filed the charges against them, they wrote to the Signals Bureau that they should explain to them the purpose of the 49.1 million. And they said, we don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's there. They are disclosures. If you are interested, I'll ferry the disclosures to you. These are not Adu Boahen's pictures. It is the Attorney General trying to do, working through IOCO, trying to do a fishing expedition. So when they were doing the fishing expedition, they have charged a man already, and the case was in court. So let's charge a man and find the facts. That's an aberration. That should not.
So you're saying that the Attorney General did not have hardcore evidence against Adu Boahen?
He didn't.
They just took him?
He didn't. Somebody put together, if you like, a cock and bull story. I want to say that. A story that did not have foundation in evidence and in facts. And just say that let's mess him up in the press. And because it was building up, let's then charge him in court. Because let me tell you, how can you begin to find the evidence after the man has been charged? What was a mad rush? Why was anybody in an ambulance moved to charge Adu Boahen? You should put together a dossier, a credible dossier with your evidence, and then when you are cocksure that, look, this guy cannot run away from this case because the evidence I have built is so preponderating, then you charge a man.
Now, let's look at evidence, since you're talking about evidence. Do we know whether the AG and the IOCO have been able to produce any documented court to prove that the machines were never bought?
None. We said they should bring us, they said they had inventory from the national security space to show that the machine was never brought. We asked for that in disclosures. They are unable to bring it. So there's no inventory showing that the machine is not present in national security space. What a shame. So,
as we speak, do we have the cyber security defense system?
Sure. Even President Mahama intimated that it's working, is that we will come for you. That is a machine.
So it makes you very excited that the case is going nowhere. Is that how you feel?
It saddens me. It doesn't make me excited. It saddens me that at the high level, such monumental mistakes should be made at the expense of the liberty of an individual.
Do you think the state has been ungrateful to Governor Adu Boahen regarding the way this case traveled?
It's sad. The state has been cruel to him in the sense that I don't believe that any Attorney General will go and feed the press with evidence he hasn't gotten and ask him to come for plea bargain. And then they arraign him. Look at the number of days he spent in the cells. And then they arraign him before a court of law. And now they are struggling to find the evidence. Let's pronounce you guilty, and then let's do a reverse journey of trying to find the evidence. Is that how you try a man? And then what is the problem? Why didn't you refer the man to the internal arrangements of national security, which is provided by law? Why do you want to violate the national security laws and single this man out as an ordinary person for prosecution? Well, there's nobody even in Parliament. We don't have an internal redress in terms of criminal matters and the rest of it. Even members of Parliament hasn't got it. But when it comes to national security, the law is there. The intelligence laws are there for anybody to read. And national security matters are submarine with the greatest of respect. And it is an aberration to project in the manner they've done. And a lot of things are coming out. So how is, if ever they should call him to open his defense, is he going to breach the oath of secrecy and tell it as it is? So he goes to jail? It's a conundrum that everybody is contemplating, that this case was a non-starter.
Are there lessons we can learn from this case?
Well, I believe that when you win power, it should work gingerly. Because if you believe that I will prosecute people to appease those who believe that their poverty is as a result of crime in government. That's one of the things, that they have stolen our money. We don't go steal that, make them cheaters. Every day you whip this frenzy and fetish drums. You understand? Those fetish drums, they are not equal to prove beyond reasonable doubt. So then you'll be met with serious matters to prove somebody's guilt. So do not whip sentiments that, oh, you are going to jail people. That statement that I'm going to jail people, it's not consistent with our democracy. You don't have the power to jail. You have the power to prosecute. There's another institution, they call it separation of powers, the judiciary, who could decide that this man should go to jail. So the propaganda was too heightened. That high voltage propaganda is what is whipping them to try and see whether we'll be able to jail people at the quickest time. And they'll make a comparison. Akufo-Addo, 8 years jailed a few people. We have jailed about 29 people. We are serious about corruption. But if you want to push corruption, you push it through a national security couple. He is not political. I keep telling people, the man you have arrested, he has never been the minister for roads and highways. He's never been.
But he's taking critical decisions in the interest of the states. And he should be accountable to the people.
You see, if you want to know how much money the national security has spent on President Mahama, where are you going to say it since he became president? Do you want to say it, this accountability? Where in the world that in the name of accountability, let's bring national security matters to the fore? Where in the world? Say one. When the President Mahama is going to travel to give his speech at the...
it's in London now.
It's in London now, you see. Do you know the arrangements they make for him to get there? And do we bring those matters to Parliament that, oh no, when he met this, he gave him a gift, and the gift was so and so. Do you know that diplomacy is doing quietly, and it's cash? And national security is in charge, so that they ensure that he does the best for the nation.
And that's why a lot of people are raising concern about the operation of national security, because in that disguise, or I don't know how to describe it, in that picture you're painting, the funds being used are state funds.
How do you know that they are state funds?
Where would they get the money?
All the state funds are amenable to the scrutiny of Parliament. That's why.
So are you telling us tonight that the funds used by National Security, Signal Bureau, all those security architecture are not funds from the states?
There might be funds from the state relative to salaries, capital allocation, but operational funds are not amenable to parliamentary scrutiny.
Where do they get the operational funds from?
All manner of sources. It could come from the state, it could come from private sources, and whatever. But insofar as they enter the national security space, they are no longer public funds. Everybody knows that. They are no longer public funds. All the gadgets they might want to buy, you understand? Are you telling me they go for procurement? They want to buy stuff from Israeli setup. Do you know how they'll buy it?
I know they don't go through the procurement, system, but there should be a way. Reason why the Attorney General believes certain things did not go right under the watch of Commissioner Adu Boahen. For which reasons he initiated this to really bring Ghanaians up to speed. Accountability issues in there.
But Attorney General has not changed the laws of Ghana by this prosecution. Attorney General is rather violating the laws of Ghana. That when you
think so?
Oh, very much so. I've told you that if you believe that a national security operative has violated certain laws, you know what they do? In the national security laws, there are processes for redress. I'm telling you. Yeah, go and look at the Intelligence Act. Look at the Signal Bureau. They are all there.
And you think the Attorney General did not follow those?
They didn't even pay regard to that, let alone follow. That is what it is.
He touched on plea bargaining at a point.
Yes, he said it in the public space.
What do you make of that?
He is my brother and friend. It was very unfortunate. So now the Attorney General is a court. In his own mind, the guy is guilty. and therefore can you come and plead bargain so I have mercy on your punishment? When the trial has not started, do you know what is going on now? The Attorney General signed that the man has blown the 49.1 million on himself and he's bought a landed property. My brother, listen to me carefully. The Attorney General signed. It's part of the matters before the court. They call it the charge sheet and the accompanying facts. In the accompanying facts, Attorney General side. Now, we file a disclosure. Mr. Attorney General, can you show us the nexus between the property acquisition in London and the 49.1 million? They said we are unable to show. We have the disclosure. They came back to us and said they don't have any documentation on the properties. Do you know the harm and damage you've done to the man in the public space and in this trial? He said, look, what should be obvious for your guilt? I don't have it. I'm telling you, these are not my inventions. These are disclosures. So we press the Attorney General, can you give us the document showing who was the vendor of the London house? We want to know. It might Mr. Wilson something. Who sold the property to Adu Boahen? Is that not so? Where is the instrument of purchase? We don't have it. How can you show us how the money from the so-called private B&C was used to pay for the money for the property in London? Say we don't have it either. So you want to prosecute a man on zero evidence? That's incredible. Is this trial extrajudicial? I don't know. What are the underpinnings? Why do you want to go to that land? Today they're talking about properties the man has acquired. Plenty properties. And the people want to know, the property, were they acquired in 2020? Because that account was a 2020 account. The National Security Coordinator's Special Operations account that they want to call his private account was a 2020 account. The properties that you claim he acquired, did they predate 2020? If they predate 2020, then you can't, post-date a crime.
Right.
Can you post-date a crime? So these are matters that we begin to wonder. Is this...
As we wrap up the conversation, what is the way forward on this case?
Well, if you ask me, the window is not closed. You understand? If they want to respect the law, they should go back to the Intelligence Act and the Signals Bureaus Act. They will see the internal redress. And now that we are talking about even refunds, even if monies that came to Adu Boahen were refunds, they could go and settle the accounts within the national security space. And that could be a way to even tone down the temptation to wash the linen of national security in public. And it is up to them. We are not the ones going to say that we are so afraid this case is going to go bad for us, so we are on bended knees that act right and be law compliant. That is not our remedy. We can't advise the Attorney General.
Right.
It's the president who is in charge of the entire national security. The president should see through what is going on. Because, there is a serious national security couple, I don't want to mention his name. He said, national security is on trial. And Mr. President, is dangerous, a dangerous president for you, that when you are no longer the president, all that the national security did to aid your presidency, you want to bring it as a criminal trial.
So this trial is a negative precedent.
It's a dangerous, it's not only negative, it's a dangerous and a monstrous precedent that is not good for the health of the state. In fact, it's not in harmony for the future of democracy for you to say, can we come and showcase the internal workings of national security in court? I don't know the level of the morbid hatred somebody has for this man. You're going to use this man as an example to mess up national security? So we said we want to have the National Security Coordinator's account, Kojo Chikete's account, and the judges are Atta Akyea, you are going too far. For you to see the patterns and behaviors of national security. Because if you come to the Evidence Act, an accused person is permitted to show routine pattern to cancel mens rea, guilty mind. Is there? So you can see a pattern of the behavior of national security consistent with what has happened in Chireme's time, and we see that there's no crime at all.
So, final words. What should the public be expecting when it comes to this case in the coming days?
Well, it's going to be a document-based cross-examination. Cross-examination is continued. That's Mildred. Donko is being cross-examined. And it's all going to be evidence-based documents. There is no invention from Adu Boahen. Adu Boahen is not going to, tweak, facts to secure anything. Because guess what? They are talking about bank accounts. So you could trace this, you could trace emails that initiated the transfers and the withdrawals. So we are doing a serious documentary-based evidence. And
you're sure this case is going to go in your favor?
It must go in our favor because of the poverty of the prosecution's case. Like they didn't even know the purpose of the 49.1 million.
Do you think the Attorney General should be apologizing to your clients?
Well, I don't want to advise the Attorney General. He's my good brother, I keep telling people. But I know at his exalted place, he should take a look at this case and even consult other Attorney Generals on this matter. Because I don't see where we are going with this matter of taking out a man from the national security space. So we bastardize national security. It's a dangerous precedent.
Thank you so much, Samuel Atta Akyea. Is a former MP for Ibuakwa South and the Defense Counsel for Kwabena Adu Boahen, and he's been sharing his thoughts with us here on the probe regarding the case that is currently before the courts. We'll still keep our eyes on the happenings there and keep you posted. We've been live on JoyNews as well as Joy 99.7 FM Lab and 99.5 FM in Kumasi and over 30 affiliates. This has been The Probe. My name is Carlos Calony. Thank you so much for watching. Stay with us. Next week, we have another exciting edition of The Probe. Bye-bye.
Cadbury hot chocolate, crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
I am Anas Sabit on the principal streets of Tichiman, and this is Joy News. Independent, fearless, and credible.
Did you know that some videos circulating on social media falsely claiming to be from JoyNews and advertising some drugs are fakes? These fake videos advertise unapproved medicines using deep fakes of our presenters to endorse these medicines. Here's one example.
Blood pressure exceeds 120/80, internal organs are affected, and a stroke occurs. A famous doctor has developed a drug that prevents high blood pressure.
You can learn to spot these fake videos.
For over 100 years, we've been supporting businesses with our financial services. Our centenary celebration, we wanted to do something slightly different. So we thought, we know that, entrepreneurship is one of the main drivers of growth in this economy. And we wanted to be a little bit more intentional in supporting that space. So we thought, let us create a platform that will give young entrepreneurs who are doing amazing things, let's give them visibility. Let's give them structured support that will help them move their business to the next level. So that's what the program was all about.
Turn around. Turn point. Yeah. He's a turn around. Hello and welcome to Springboard with Virtual University. My name is Albert Okran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with the Enterprise Group, MTN Ghana, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News Television, the graphic newspapers, and the Springboard channel on YouTube. Today is the week after the showdown. It's been an incredible journey, starting with 1,000+ young people expressing interest in the enterprise spotlight, trimmed down to 468 that met all the criteria, and 24 finalists ready for the big cash. At the end of last week, we had 3 overall winners out of the 10 super finalists. Today, I have one of them in the house, Bridget Eshen, the founder of Del Soil. Bridget.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
Tell me, did you sleep that night?
Oh, I couldn't. How can you even sleep? If you were in my shoes, would you have been able to sleep?
Well, I want to be in your shoes. Put me in your shoes. The shout, even when you made that last choice, selecting the final 10
right
out of the 24. Interestingly, contestant number 23 and 24, one will go through.
Exactly.
And you were holding the card. We could see, you couldn't see.
Yeah.
And then we said the 10th finalist, the last finalist to enter the van is, and you timed it.
Yes.
That shout, what did it mean?
The shout of victory.
Oh, Jenny. Your victory was somebody else's disappointment. All the thoughts will come to you very shortly, but we also have in the studios our friends from Enterprise Group that made it possible, and we are joined on set by the group head of communications and synergy. She's been in the engine of this entire production from the very first day till the ultimate triumph of literally every young person in business. I'm joined by Phyllis with Nati. Phyllis, describe that whole experience, a 2-year journey in one word.
Exhilarating.
Charlie, I have to get a dictionary for that.
I think that will describe it. It's nothing like I've ever experienced before. And I don't think, even as we're conceptualizing it, we actually thought that it would be this moving.
So for you, I mean, and that's why your